In a physically demanding, high pressure environment, high pressure job, how important is strength? Do you think strength training should be encouraged more for women in physically demanding roles? And we'll take your example to go with.
Yeah, for sure. Any emergency services or anything like that, I think it's so important, not only for the strength, the physical aspect of it, but also the mental. Like for me, after a hard shift at work, going to the gym, like I would be towards the end of my shift, I would just be thinking, it's fine, we're going to the gym, we're going to the gym. Like it's the biggest outlet for me, just being in that gym. The minute I walk in, I start, especially legs, if I start training legs after a shit day, it just puts me in a completely different mood. Yeah, people really don't realize how much the gym can lift your mood, just the endorphins, everything. You feel amazing afterwards. So I think it's so important physically and mentally. I think strength training or just being in the gym in itself is so important for anyone, especially emergency services workers.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Proof of Work series, episode 3. In this episode of Stack and Strength, a Proof of Work series, I sit down with Shannyn, an emergency services professional and an aspiring IFBB wellness athlete. We would explore a powerful idea called proof of work, not just in fitness, in life, and in Bitcoin. We will discuss why discipline beats motivation, what emergency services and bodybuilding have in common, why shortcuts always fail, how Bitcoin rewards patience and consistency, and why money should work like the gym. This is not a technical Bitcoin episode. It's a conversation about earned results, long-term thinking, and systems that reward real effort. So, whether you're brand new to the fitness or investing space in general, or just curious, this episode will shift how you think about work, value, and time. Stay tuned in. And Shannyn, thank you for taking time and coming on my show. I welcome you here. And if you could give a quick intro to the listeners, that would be awesome.
Thank you for having me. As John said, my name's Shannyn, 30 years old, work in emergency services, and I'm an aspiring bodybuilder. I'm hoping to step on stage in the next 12 to 18 months, depending on how my build goes. Thank you for having me.
Guys, we have 41 degrees here today in Melbourne. Not a usual Melbourne weather, but yeah, can't complain. This is one of those rare Fridays. Shannyn, so we just want to talk in general. We'll keep things very general, non-technical, just to say. So if there are listeners and viewers who are particularly new to the industry, it's not too much of jargon and confusion. To start with, I want to talk about, like, there are still a lot of misconceptions about women and strength training, especially when they see someone like yourself competing in IFBB wellness. For example, misconception number 1 is lifting heavy makes women bulky, right? One of the biggest myths is that lifting heavy makes women bulky. So from your experience so far, how accurate is that?
Not at all. I think people they don't realize how hard it is to get bulky. There are men out there that can't get bulky. So yeah, it's a massive misconception. It's always been a thing that women should just do cardio or Pilates, things like that. But then their dream body is, this curvy body with shape, and you're not going to get that from just running or just doing cardio or Pilates. So weightlifting, it's honestly the perfect way to build shape. You need muscle to have that shape. And yeah, the fear of getting bulky. Some of us are out here trying to deliberately get bulky and it's not happening. It's hard work.
I agree. If muscle was that easy to build, everyone would have it. Everyone on the streets would
Exactly.
be jacked. But unfortunately, that's not the case. And there have been many studies that have actually suggested that training, resistance training and strength training, is actually helps you in longevity, like in general in life, right? Rather than someone who does not have strong muscles. So, yep, I agree. And that point of yours that even men are struggling to get bulky, and that's a fact. So, anatomically speaking, men are obviously more more testosterone in men, so men will develop muscles faster than women. Generally, yeah, it's harder for men as well to build a real muscle, right? How long does it actually take on to build a real muscle? In your example, that is not, yeah, just personal take.
Yeah. Well, like for myself, we've only recently started my build phase. So we went through a big cutting phase, like a mock prep to see what I look like underneath the body fat. So yeah, we've recently done a big 8-week build. I can see that I put on muscle, but it's still nowhere near enough. So I'm looking to build a lot more muscle over, say, the next, 12 months before I go into prep to get on stage. So And that's me, not only training hard in the gym, but all of my nutrition and everything is on point, and I'm deliberately training, progressing every single week to build muscle. So it's not just, going in the gym and just lifting stuff for fun. I'm actually in there destroying myself to put on a small amount of muscle.
I can watch for that. We are in the same gym. I've seen her training. She trains hard, awesome, and not many people train like that. You need a different mindset. I try to bring all those people with that kind of mindset to the show who've actually tried to push their boundaries and break the barriers that exist in the head, right, in terms of training and pushing themselves. Because it's very easy to scroll through the pages and see, well, how good the other person looks, but what exactly that person goes through in their daily life, in and out of the gym, is what matters. So it may look very easy on the surface, but those who are there, they know that it's not as beautiful as it looks. There's a lot of struggles in the back end.
Yeah,
Another misconception: women should train to be toned, as you mentioned about the Pilates, and that aspect, and not to be strong, right? You hear toned a lot, but rarely many or let's say influencers or promoters say, oh, to train to be strong, right? Everybody, or people themselves, they want to be toned. They don't emphasize on the aspect to be strong. So what does training actually, in your opinion, what does strength training actually do for women beyond aesthetics?
Yeah. The term toned makes me laugh because people don't realize that you need to have muscle to look toned. If you don't have the muscle developed, you're not going to look toned. And that's where the term skinny fat comes in, because if you don't have the muscle there, you're just going to be skinny, which is fine if that's the look you're going for. But I think strength is so much more than just aesthetics. Like, obviously, I love the way I look and the shape that I'm building, but it's also, there's something so empowering as a woman to, be in the weight section and you're lifting up massive dumbbells, and, no shame to the men, but sometimes you look over at the men doing the same exercise as you and you're lifting a lot more than them. And that's very empowering, especially as a small girl, to look over and you're like, yeah, I did that. It really builds your confidence. It's very, very empowering.
Percent. That is true. And that comes with time, right? How many years have you been here doing this?
Yeah, focused on weights. I started when I was about 21, so yeah, about 9 years. And then before that, I was just doing martial arts boxing. So I was the cardio girl, and I switched over, and yeah, don't regret it at all.
Nice. Say 9 years, and it took that fair bit of time for you to get to that strength level of where you are today, right? It doesn't happen. It doesn't happen straight away. So, guys, it's about the long-term vision and the long-term mindset. There are no shortcuts. There are no shortcuts here, right? You have to put in the work. You have to put in the proof of work, and it will show mentally, and obviously it will show in your strength side. Shannyn, how has getting stronger changed how you move, work, and think?
I think overall it helps in your day-to-day activities, simple things like just being strong. If in the gym you're strong at, your deadlifting and your squats and things like that, you're creating such a strong structure for yourself outside of the gym. So, a normal everyday task that a girl couldn't normally do, once you build that strength in the gym, it carries over outside of the gym and you can do things a lot easier. You're stronger, you're more, agile and able to do things. Yeah, it's just honestly, even down to injury prevention, the amount of people in my family that say to me, oh, I've got a bad lower back, I've got pain here. And I'm like, just strengthen your glutes, strengthen your legs so that you're not using your lower back when you're doing things, in your job or around your house. Yeah, it's really good inside and outside of the gym. It's strength training's honestly life-changing. Once you get uncomfortable and push yourself to do it, it's really, really good.
I agree. Strength isn't just physical, so it carries into confidence, your daily life, and your capability. It takes time, yes, but eventually it shows. It shows, and people around you will notice that. You will definitely notice that, and that actually helps you just in life. More important than the physical aspect of things, you actually feel good about it, right? Your mind's so fresh, your confidence is engaged, you're mentally happy. The stress hormones are not at that level as how it would be if you're not doing these things on a regular basis.
Yeah, for sure. And I love seeing that with people that start at the gym, after a couple of weeks when they're no longer uncomfortable and they start seeing little changes or, progressing weights. I love seeing that little spark in their eyes when they're like, holy shit, like I actually feel good about myself. And it does, it carries outside of the gym. They're walking with confidence and they feel good about themselves. It's a massive thing for your mental health and your self-esteem.
Yeah, just amazing. And that's what brings people back, right? Some kind of changes could be physical motivation or it could be mental or just a combination of both. And yeah, 100%. Another misconception to say is that what I hear is that women do not need to progressively overload. How important has that aspect been in your training for wellness?
Yeah. Look, if you're just in the gym just for the fun of it and you don't really care how much muscle you put on or what changes you make, sure, you don't need to. But yeah, if your goal is to put on muscle, change your shape, and actually progress, then you do for sure. I've had programs where in the past I didn't progressive overload. It was just from a lack of knowledge, and I would just go in and kind of stuff around, a bit of a guessing game. But since getting my coach and really learning the art of progressive overload, my physique has blown up massively in a short period of time. I think anyone around me can see that. It makes a massive, massive difference. It is very important.
Yeah, progress only happens when the work increases, right? And exactly as Sean mentioned, the good thing is they develop the habit of coming to the gym, but they do not have a plan in mind. They come and they train random things. So what that does is does not give you optimal recovery, does not give you optimal training. Only after a later stage when they get into it, they get engaged with a coach or a mentor, right? And this is what I noticed that many folks should be doing very early on, because the amount of years that you would save and the progression that you would delay actually happens when you get the right coach for yourself. Right coach, the coach that who understands you, who actually knowledgeable and knows what your needs are, and works with you. And personally and professionally, and known so many people over the years who just do it for the sake of it, but again, it will just delay your whole thing. And it's fine. It's totally fine if you don't really have any set goals, you don't have any plans, any ambitions of getting on stage or reaching a certain level of physique or something, whatever you dream of. That's okay then. But if you have a certain dream physique, or if there is something, there is a vision, there is something that you're looking for, then you definitely need a plan. You cannot go without a plan. And obviously, you don't have the plan because you've been doing that for a long time and you're still there. So you need someone who actually can build that plan for you. What do you think, Shannyn? Another thing is that strength training is bad for hormones. A concern that I hear is lifting heavy is bad for women's hormones. What's your lived experience?
No, I think once you start strength training, things kind of follow, one thing leads after another. Then you start dieting properly, you're eating properly, you're giving yourself, enough water. It all goes hand in hand and you end up being the healthiest version of yourself. Like since I started lifting weights, everything else improved in my life. And I definitely haven't experienced any issues with hormones. I think if anything, I've become a healthier version of myself from training and dieting.
Right. And how important do you think recovery, nutrition, and consistency in making strength work with the body and not against it?
Yeah. It's one thing to go into the gym and absolutely smash yourself with hard training, but if you're not eating right, not getting enough protein, enough carbs to fuel your workouts, and recovering properly, then you're not going to get the result you want. It all goes hand in hand together, and then obviously consistency, of course. If you're showing up one day a week and then the next week you miss it and you go off plan and you're drinking alcohol and you're eating takeaway, it's not going to work. It all flows on. You've got to train, you've got to eat well, you've got to eat your protein, you've got to rest and recover. Don't train every single day because your body's not recovering. Yeah, there is a fine art to it, but once you perfect it, it does pay off.
Many women are told that cardio is the main tool for fat loss, right? And how has resistance training and strength training changed your body composition um, in terms of fat loss? And why do you think strength training is still underestimated in that aspect?
Yeah. I think people think because they're jumping on the Stairmaster and they're absolutely dripping in sweat, after 10 minutes, that that's the optimal way to lose fat. And it is a great additional tool, but I think ideally for fat loss, your diet is the main thing. But strength training hand in hand, like the amount of calories you're burning when you're strength training properly, and then in addition, then you can add in a little bit of cardio. Instead of doing an hour on the stairs, you can drop that down to, 20 minutes or half an hour if you're strength training with it. And obviously your diet is the most important part. But yeah, I think people look at strength training as just muscle building, you're just in there, you're getting big and you're getting bulky, but you're definitely not. If your diet is set for fat loss, strength training and your diet together is definitely enough to lose fat, even without cardio. Cardio is just an addition.
I agree. And this probably ties to your professional role as an emergency services professional. In a physically demanding, high pressure environment, high pressure job, how important is strength? Do you think strength training should be encouraged more for women in physically demanding roles? And we'll take your example to go with.
Yeah, for sure. Any emergency services or anything like that, I think it's so important, not only for the, the strength, the physical aspect of it, but also the mental. Like for me, after a hard shift at work, going to the gym, like I would be towards the end of my shift, I would just be thinking, it's fine. We're going to the gym. We're going to the gym. Like it's the biggest outlet for me, just being in that gym. The minute I walk in, I start, especially legs. If I start training legs after a shit day, it just puts me in a completely different mood. Yeah, people really don't realize how much the gym can lift your mood, just the endorphins, everything. You feel amazing afterwards. So I think it's so important physically and mentally. I think strength training or just being in the gym in itself is so important for anyone, especially emergency services workers. Honestly, I think I'm just a little bit unwell because I look forward to it. I don't care what's happened in my day, how tired I am. There's something about it. I just get in the gym, get my pre-workout going, and I love it. I know how good I'm going to feel at the end of my leg session. As much as it's brutal and I can't walk and I'm exhausted, I know how good I feel, and I know that it's getting me, a step closer to where I want to be. So for me, it doesn't matter what's going on in my life. If I train legs, everything's better.
Love it. Would you agree to say in your professional life in emergency services and bodybuilding, can you fake the work and still get the result?
No, absolutely not. I think that's what I love so much about bodybuilding. Someone asked me a couple of weeks ago why I wanted to compete, what got me there. And that's what I love about it is you can't fake it. You're not part of a team. You can't just show up and run around on the field and your team wins and you take all of the credit for it. Like it is you. Yes, you've got your coach, but the best they can do is give you the plan. If you don't follow the plan, it's on you. When you get up on stage, it's going to show whether you did the work or not, whether you snuck some KFC, whether you skipped cardio, it's going to be there. So that's what I love about it. And yeah, I guess in my job as well, you definitely, you can't fake it in my job. You've either got it or you don't. You show up and do the job right, or you don't, and it definitely shows.
Fake it till you make it does not apply here. It does not apply in this concept, ladies and gentlemen, here in fitness and bodybuilding, or in even in Bitcoin. There is a rule called proof of work. You have to show up, you have to do the work to get the rewards, right? That's how it works. And I will bridge into that in some time. Sean, before I do that, do you know what Bitcoin is? Have you heard about Bitcoin?
Heard about Bitcoin, but my knowledge is very, very minimal. Educate me.
I will. I am the Bitcoin educator truly in the especially in this fitness arena, because that's the reason why I actually started this channel, and the channel is called Stack and Strength. Stack in the Bitcoin language it goes for stacking sats. Sats is a fraction of a Bitcoin. Like in a dollar you have 100 cents. One Bitcoin has 100 million sats. So sats is the short for Satoshis. We call it sats. So we say stacking sats. So that's what I really love to do. The two most favorite things is stacking sats on a regular basis, and strength training, right? So that's why Stack and Strength. The reason I started this is because when I used to talk to people, and I've been in this space for over around 6 years now, in fitness for much longer, but just in Bitcoin space for 6 years. And because I'm so deep in it, I've read so many books, listened to so many hours of podcasts, spent thousands and thousands of hours doing the work, right? Deeply understand what the system is. And because people listen to it, hear about it, and let it go, and that's where, and when I realized that people really did not have much idea at all, and I probably give that education out. That's why I started this channel. I have personally known many family and friends who have some little bit of sats or Bitcoin to say it's stored on an exchange. That's a very unsecure way of keeping it. It's saying that Shannyn has money in a bank account, but John has a password. So the password is with John, or password is with a stranger. You know what I mean? Like if Shannyn has money in a bank, you wouldn't give your password to a stranger on the street. You would keep your password to yourself. That's exactly how it works. If you keep your Bitcoin on an exchange, you really don't own it. So In the Bitcoin world, we say if it's not your keys, your private keys, Bitcoin has private keys. It's not yours. You don't know. If the exchange shuts down tomorrow, you won't be able to log in. You won't be able to put your username and password and log into your account. It's happened before, it's happened multiple times, and it will happen again. So you always keep it into your self-custody. I will come there. That's probably a bit early information for you. So what is Bitcoin? In a very easy to understand way, Bitcoin, at its essence, Bitcoin is purely a peer-to-peer version of electronic cash that allows online payments to be sent directly from one party to another without going through a financial institution. So right now, if you have to send money to me, you go to your bank account. That's your first step. You put down my information. Your money gets routed through a channel. That channel contacts my channel, and then that decides to send it to me. So there are a few intermediaries here. And I'm not sure if you've ever transferred money overseas, or I have. If you ever transfer money overseas, it takes a much more longer time for the money to reach. Also, if you try to do that over the weekends, then good luck, because it's going to take a few days, or much more than a few days. Bitcoin is instant. So because there is no financial intermediary, there's no one controlling it. When Bitcoin was created in 2008. The white paper was written. The first block of Bitcoin was mined in 2009, January 3rd of 2009. It was created by someone known as Satoshi. Satoshi is a pseudonymous name. Satoshi Nakamoto. That's not that person or the group of persons' real name. It's still a mystery. Now, that's why we call it sats. The fractions of Bitcoin is called sats in reference to Satoshi. Satoshi remains a mystery, but no matter who created Bitcoin, it doesn't matter, because it's grown beyond the control of the creator. It was created just to get out of the banking system, because the banking system is failing across the world. For those who understand money in that context, all of our currencies, that is the Australian dollar, US dollar, Canadian dollar, you name a currency, right? They will all go to zero. So the best example, Shannyn, is if you could think like 10 years ago or 9 years ago, when you started your fitness journey, the $100 that you would have, what you had back then, it does not hold the same value what it can buy in terms of its purchasing power today. And forget about 10 years back, just go a couple of years back, it doesn't. In general, people fail to understand that why. We just call it inflation, a term that is so much thrown around that people don't really understand what exactly that is, right? Inflation, we are so made to believe that that's a normal thing to happen, but actually it's not. The value of your goods and services is not going up. The value of your dollar, your currency, is actually going down. The goods and services are the same place. If you think about it, over the period of years, over the past, 10, 20 years, I was there when the internet came in, right? And emails came in, the mobile phones were introduced. So the technological changes were happening. When internet came in, people were like, a lot of people, it came in the newspapers that internet is a fad. It's not going to survive. No, nobody's going to use internet. Nobody's going to use email. Tell that to anyone today. I mean, right now you and I are chatting on this pod. If I don't have internet, I can't do this. We need internet for everything. We can't live without it. This is exactly what happened when the first car was made. When the first automobile came in, they said, oh no, cars will never run. I'll just go get a better horse, a faster horse. How many people do that? How many horses do you see on the, Monash Highway? It's a technological shift. So right now, at this point of time, while we are talking, we're going through a major financial shift. Right now, the biggest wealth transfer in history is happening. The money, what we know as money, is being shifted from the hands of the weak to the strong. In few years, the value that you hold in your bank account will be worthless. By the time you retire, the amount that you have in your super would be worthless. It would not be enough. They'll make you believe that it's good for your retirement, but they'll make you believe that it would be enough for you. You know why it would not be enough? Because your money loses value. It debases over time. It's a deflationary asset. It's a worthless asset. It's like toilet paper. Bitcoin, on the other hand, appreciates over time. Why does it appreciate? It appreciates over time because it's not infinite. It's a finite asset. So money, there's no cap over money. We don't know how much money is out there. Nobody can say that because they just print it out of thin air whenever they want it to be printed. Bitcoin is finite. There's only going to be 21 million. The total supply is hard capped at 21 million coins. It's a design choice governed by code that creates digital scarcity. Now, obviously, what that does is, if you understand economics, potentially increasing the value as the demand rises and no more coins can be created. Are you with me, or am I flying over the head?
No, 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 no. I'm with you. You've still got me for
Okay,
now.
good. Okay, good. Awesome. Another point to note is Bitcoin operates without a central authority. There is no CEO, there's no governor, there's no minister, there's no president, prime minister, there's no bank or government. Bitcoin uses a global network of computers who run nodes, Bitcoin nodes, basically the Bitcoin software, to validate and record transactions. It ensures that no single entity, no single person controls the system. What that means is, for Bitcoin to shut down, two things need to happen. One, the internet needs to shut down forever. And you and I both know that's not happening. The only scenario that can happen is like there's a crazy World War III. But if that happens, then the last worries is internet and Bitcoin, right? If World War III is we don't have, we have bigger things to worry about. I personally run a Bitcoin node. So even if all the nodes in the world shut down and mine is still running, Bitcoin will still be running. So what I'm trying to say is, like me, there are many people across the world who are running the nodes, right? And we are making it decentralized. It's no single person who controls the power. The money that you have in your bank account, right? Basically, when you open your app, you see that there's some money there. They're just numbers. They just like banks says, I owe you. So like, I owe Shannyn, oh, this much money. It's not really there. So tomorrow, if like a bank collapses, you go out there, and banks have collapsed in the past. You go out there and say, hey, I need to get my so and so money. They're like, sorry, we don't have it. So you really don't have control over your money, right? Bitcoin, on the other hand, uses a public tamper-proof ledger called a blockchain. It's just where every transaction is recorded and secured, making it virtually impossible to alter the past record. So basically, whenever a block is created on the Bitcoin blockchain, right, it's there forever. Nobody can tamper with it, and that's the beauty about it. Do you see that orange book over there? No, you can't.
Yeah, yeah. You
Right.
can see the little side of it.
Yeah. So that's a big print, right? It's written by someone by the name of Lawrence Lepore. It's an excellent read if you like to understand. It's in general about how money functions, but it will have references to Bitcoin and give you a more broad understanding. Then there is the Bitcoin Standard. That is like the holy grail of it. A couple of other books, Price of Tomorrow by Jeff Booth. If you're not a reader, you will have these books on Audible as well, like so to listen. So for those people who don't like to read that much but like to listen, they function better like that. There is that option as well. Another thing about money as such, I don't know if you know about it, but many years ago, money was on the gold standard. Gold was the standard till 1971, when U.S. President Nixon decided to take the U.S. dollar off the gold standard. So what that meant was they had no backing from there onwards of the dollars that they're printing. So prior to that, every dollar that was printed was backed by real gold. So every dollar had a value. After that, when they stopped it, they don't have value. They were just printing it out of thin air. And so did every other nation state. So what that did is, you really don't have a backup. Your dollar loses its value. There's nothing to back it up. Gold, the problem with gold is a hard asset. It's a strong asset. The problem with gold is that it is infinite. Like, you can find gold tomorrow at a new place. They'll find a region, oh my god, there's gold deposits underneath here. They'll find an asteroid full of gold. So as technology increases, they'll find more gold. The problem with gold is, if you go to buy a coffee, you can't take a gold bar with you and shave off the gold bar and like, hey, can I buy it with these crystals of gold? They'd be like, dude, what's wrong with this guy, man? Let me call the cops on him. However, Bitcoin can be divided into 100 million units, as I mentioned before, called sats, satoshis, right? Enabling precise transactions as low and as high as you can. You can buy a home or a coffee with it these days. Another very valid point, important point is it's permissionless. So it does not need anyone's permission. So Bitcoin is permissionless. You don't need an authority's permission. I don't know if you have experiences with the bank. For me personally, like, especially with Combank, I was trying to move a certain amount of money and then they stopped it. They blocked it. And then I called them and I'm like, what's happening? They're like, where are you moving the money to? And I'm like, so-and-so. Why are you moving the money to? I'm like, well, firstly, you don't really need to know this, but okay, I'll tell you why. Okay. And then I told them, I am giving complete authority and my permission that this transaction can happen. And it's my money sitting in my account. They're like, nope, we can't let that happen. It's for your security. We're going to hold this for 24 hours. And I'm like, you're holding the money that I earned on like spending my time and my energy, which is in my bank account, and you're holding it for my security for 24 hours. Like, you're keeping my money hostage. And it happened a few times, and obviously I don't do much business with them. I have other banks, but with Bitcoin, you don't need anyone's approval or any authority. You just need internet, especially, in regions where they have restricted access to banking. Like, we're blessed to be in Australia, but there are nations where people struggle to even have bank accounts. People don't have bank accounts, right? But that's where in those poorer countries, people use Bitcoin because they don't need anyone. People do the transactions, daily transactions. They buy groceries with it. They buy goods and services with it. They transfer money, so on and so forth. If you save your time and energy over your next coming years in dollars, you will lose your time and energy. So you will lose your value. Your purchasing power will keep on going down. You need to store in an asset which is going to go upwards. And it's just secured by code. It's secured by math. There's no option. It's the only asset on this world which has proven itself to go up from the past 17 years since its inception. We're talking about from 1 cent to today, I think it's around 93,000 US dollars. So yeah, and that's another point that I wanted to touch is because people think that, I don't have that kind of money. Like, how can I buy? You don't need to. You can buy for $10. You can buy for 50. You can buy for 100. You can buy for $5. The point is getting off zero. The point is you can only win the race if you're in the race. If you think and do not think in Bitcoin terms, right? I try to tell people think in sats. Because down the track, Bitcoin's price is going to be so astronomical that people cannot think about acquiring 0.1 or 0.01 Bitcoin. So they will be talking in sats, in fractions of a Bitcoin. So they'll be like, okay, I've transferred you 10,000 sats. Oh, okay, can you send 5,000 sats to me? It will become a unit of exchange. So people will start exchanging it on a very daily basis, right? The future is digital. Nobody's going to talk not our generations. Right? Are you a millennial or a Gen Z?
Millennial.
You're probably towards the end of the millennial, the last of the millennials.
Yeah, on the border.
You're on the border. Me too. And I'm not on the border. I'm at the start end of the spectrum, I guess. But millennials and Gen Z and the next generation, Alpha and Beta, they are never going to buy these baby boomer assets of gold and real estate or nothing like that. They're not going to invest in like real estate or stuff like that because it doesn't make sense to them. This is a digital realm, a digital world. They will invest in an asset, what makes sense to them and what's going up in value, what has proven itself. And this is why countries and nation states and major corporations are buying it at the back end right now, very silently. You don't see it in the news. I see it because I'm in the space and I follow things very closely, right? For those in general, people are not aware of it, but a lot of things is happening in the background. It will be all of a sudden, like, the price will skyrocket and people will say, I wish I would have put in some at 90K. Now some at 100K, because I still remember, like, when I first told some of my family and close friends, it was priced around 20K or 18, I don't remember it exactly now, like US, but, and they said, yeah, that seems like a good idea, right? Nobody even bothered to put like 500 or 1,000 or whatever they could, right? At that end. And then when they heard it in the news, Bitcoin's gone to like, oh my God, it's gone to like 180,000 or something. And I'm like, I hope you bought some, right? When I told you first. And they're like, oh, no, we didn't. I'm like, you have to put in the work. And I don't say jump into it or something, right? Read about it, read books, listen to podcasts, and talk to people who know about it. And then do your due diligence and like maybe buy a little bit that you can afford, right? The best way I tell people is, and what I suggest to everyone, and not advice, I'm not a financial advisor, but I suggest is something that doesn't hurt you. So for many people who may drink a lot of coffees, just spare 2 coffees. Spare a coffee or 2 a day. What's that, $5 or $10? I don't know how much coffee costs, but it should be around that range. And put that in, but over a period of time, let that compound. It's exactly like bodybuilding. Results will compound. do not look at that end result, right? Like, but go enjoy that journey, enjoy that process, right? That's what we're doing. And that's exactly what people need to do with their financial thing. It's so easy, it's so normal. People are letting their financial life just erode away. And this is why, and that's why I wanted to put across. Shannyn, after, if you are interested, and this is what I give an option to all my guests, if you're ever interested to put your toes in the Bitcoin space, I usually suggest a strategy called DCA. It's called dollar cost averaging. So what that means is, it's very simple. What it means is, every month or every fortnight or whenever you want to, you systematically buy whatever amount you want to buy. Like, it could be $10, $50, it doesn't matter. That's up to you. Periodically, regularly, automatically. So you don't have to go physically to do something, right? There is an app called the Amber app. I'm not affiliated with them or something. They're not my sponsor or something, but it's just an amazing app. It's an Australian app. So it's built by Bitcoiners. I like that interface so much. Is like, it automatically does things for you. You just do the initial logging, connect your bank, and do the recurring transfer, and then it keeps on buying with you. So regardless of what's happening in the background, whether the price is 90, 80, 100, doesn't matter, it keeps on chipping away for you. And then you can move it into your custody. And that's the best way to put it. Like, don't have to be technical about it. Not everyone is a trader or an analyst who understands charts and squiggly lines. That's the best way. And if you would like to do that, I'll send you, after the show, I'll send you the link for Amber app. Look into them. They're beautiful. The team is very responsive. The support team is very responsive as well. And you can, if you want to,
good.
and you can do that. And if you put my name in there, they'll give you $21 of free sats. Enough with my Bitcoin information, right? Like, and because I can just go on, and you'll be like, oh, this guy's, what is he saying, man?
That's your passion.
Yeah. Oh, it's not more like passion. Is like, because I understand it so deep, at a deeper level, and want to give that information out to people, so people are, get aware of it. And it's very easy not to do that, but I feel like there's so much toxic information and wrong information outside, right? Like, for example, just in fitness, man. Like, if you look at social media, there is some garbage outside, right? There are coaches who pretend to be coaches, and they're spewing at stuff what they are listening from 10 other people and making their own cocktail, and like telling you without any direct results from themselves or their clients. And I'm like, what is this nonsense, man? Same in the investing space. Like, there's so many scammers. Like, everybody's out there to make quick bucks, but not really provide value, right? You want to provide value to people. And obviously, and that's why I emphasized earlier on the right coach, on the good coach.
100%.
Because, yeah, and you can't, as we discussed, right? You can't shortcut years of training, and the training being anything, right? There are no shortcuts in life in general. There are no quick fixes. You don't do that in fitness or bodybuilding or investing or relationships. You don't do that. You got to put in the effort. You got to put in the proof of work. And another, I don't know, a misconception, if you want to say it like that, but it's that people think PEDs replace discipline, right? And I know it's a very nuanced conversation, but no, they don't replace discipline.
Huge thing you see at the moment, and especially with things now like ChatGPT, anyone can be a coach, advertise themselves as a coach, jump on chat and be like, what cycle should I chuck this guy on? He's 18 years old and he wants to grow muscle. And then all of a sudden we're pumping out programs to 18-year-olds, chucking them on a heap of gear and, hoping for the best. It's scary. It's very, very scary.
It is. And see, that's the point, right? Like, an 18-year-old, 18 to 20 years, your body has not even grown naturally to the potential. Why would you want to do that anyway, right? You want to explore the potential that you can push yourself to the limits first, and then maybe, and a good coach wouldn't do that, right? They wouldn't do that. They would actually try to get you see what's your potential, right? What naturally we can build out of you. And yes, and if it's required later, and if it all depends from person to person. Yeah, you're absolutely right. It's horrible. Do you think that discipline beats motivation?
100%. I can assure you, towards the end of my last cut, my food was next to nothing. My energy output was massive. And there were some mornings, like especially working, part of my routine with my cut was I had to do fasted cardio in the morning, 20 minutes fasted cardio. Some mornings, like I start work at 6 a.m. That's me getting up at 4. That's me doing my cardio at 4 a.m. and then getting ready for work, prepping all of my meals, taking it to work, going straight from work back to the gym to train my weight session. Like, no one's motivated to do that. No one. No one has the motivation to get up and do that. That's when your alarm goes off and you're like, I would literally say to myself, you want this. No one's forcing you to do this. You want this. You're actually paying someone to put you through this. Get up. It's time to go. Like, yeah, you're never going to have motivation every single day. Some days, sure. Some days I wake up, I feel amazing and I'm very motivated. But when you're pushing beyond normal limits, when you're, cutting really hard or building really hard, motivation's not going to be there. It's discipline. You just got to get up, get your shit together and go.
This is where proof of work ties in, guys, and that is the difference, the warrior mindset. You will be down on motivation on many days, right? As Shannyn rightfully said, that is very natural. That's just how it is. It could be it could be life, it could be your personal life, professional life, it could just be your lack of sleep, whatever. The point is you were still there. You're still there. You're still getting the work done. Your diet's low, your calories. You're in a certain cycle of your diet where your food is low, but doesn't matter. You still put in the work. You cannot fake proof of work. If you could say one thing to women who are afraid of lifting lifting weight, be
just give it a go. Give it a go, because I know for myself and all of the girls that I've gotten into the gym, all of my family members, once you start, you will fall in love with it. You'll get the results that you wanted and you won't turn back. So just give it a go, whether it's getting with someone, getting with a friend that already goes to the gym, getting in there with them so that you're not uncomfortable, you've got someone with you, whatever it is to get you in there, just get in there and give it a go. You'll fall in love with the process.
Absolutely. I fully agree with that. Many times, and I believe that people get intimidated. People get intimidated by just going to the gym and looking at other people. And this is where I think social media takes a hit, because people start comparing to someone who's really probably looking, absolutely phenomenal. And they just get intimidated by that. I'm not good enough, or I can't lift enough. And that just plays in the head, right? Guys, everyone, all of us, everyone started at some point of time. Generally, people who've been in the space for the long term, people who've been training for a long term, they are rarely the flashy ones. And a lot of them are really humble and nice to talk to. And just don't talk to them in the middle of their sets, right? Like if they're free, you see they're free, and they are good for a chat, maybe. Don't go in the middle of a leg session, they'll probably get punched.
Yeah, I think that's what people are always so shocked when they speak to someone that, does have a very good physique, is clearly, working towards something big like competing. And yet people get really shocked when, they'll come up and have a chat and they're like, oh, you're actually really nice. Like, they're definitely shocked. And I mean, I would feel the same if, I walked up to an NBA player and wanted to talk to them and they were super nice to me. I would be shocked as well. So I do understand. But yeah, there's nothing I love more than seeing people beginning in the gym. It's one thing to be surrounded by athletes. So you're like, yeah, cool. But seeing people as beginners coming into the gym, I love it. And I'll always, offer my help or, just give them that encouragement, even just a smile, so that they don't feel terrified in there, because it can be intimidating.
Yes, 100%. It is definitely can be intimidating, especially, as I said, right, these days, because what you see on social media is not really real. Like people try to show a lot of fluff, right? Not many people actually show the behind the scenes. And what I like to say to new people is, like, if you feel that there is something you don't understand, and then as in a machine or in a weight or in a particular exercise, if you see someone who looks like someone who been training for a long time, and you see they're free or not in the middle of the set, you can approach them politely and ask for the help, or just to see, or if you need a spot, it's okay. Two things can happen. They'll either say, no, get lost, I'm never going to spot you, don't talk to me again. Or they'll spot you. And most likely it will be the latter. Nobody's going to tell you that, no, I'm not going to spot you. Everybody will help you, man. So, yeah, I agree. Get your foot in, as Shannyn said, give it a go, and you will fall in love with the process. You'll fall in love with the process and, just get yourself in that journey, right? Don't wait for 2027 Jan. Don't wait for next new year for the resolution. Take that action today. It doesn't work like that.
Yeah.
Before we close, right? Thank you for your insight on and your opinions on in the fitness space. I do want to ask, what was your opinion about Bitcoin prior to today?
Honestly, I don't even really think I had one because I didn't even take the time to look into it. I'd heard about it, but didn't even really understand it. I knew it was somewhere you could transfer money because some people say, do you want to pay me in Bitcoin? And I'm like, no, I don't have that. I can't. But yeah, my knowledge was so minimal that even just what you've told me today, you've intrigued me. I'm someone that like hears a little bit and I'm like, tell me more. So I'll probably go nerd out and read about it now when we finish this because it does intrigue me for sure. It's not something I understood at all, and now just having that little bit of insight, it's interesting, very very interesting.
Are you a reader?
I'm not really a reader. I'm more of a listener. I get distracted when I read and I think about what I'm going to eat later and stuff. So I'm more of a listener.
Okay. Audible, if you have Audible, there is the guy's name is Walker America. Walker America reads the big print, and if you have time, listen to that. He's awesome. It's got a very nice voice as well.
Even better.
Shannyn, once again, thank you so much. Thank you so much for taking time and coming to the Proof of Work series at Stacking Strength. Ladies and gentlemen, I would put Shannyn's contact information, her socials in my YouTube description if Shannyn's okay with that.
Absolutely.
And
Come watch
yeah,
the fun.
yeah, was fun, and follow her journey on Insta. She posts regular updates and pretty motivating stuff. And yeah, you could follow her there. If you like this kind of content, please give your like and subscribe. That would be really good. It actually motivates me to get more athletes and elite people like Shannyn and have a chat, take their insight on fitness and obviously how it's helped them change their life. And obviously we get to talk about the world's most finite asset and the best money known to humanity, that is Bitcoin. So thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Shannyn, once again, you have a lovely day.
Thank you.
I will see you later. All right, take care.
No worries. Thank you.